Hello everybody, my name is KingStix. This is going to be a new guide on how to be a more proactive jungler. I'll include the runes, items I used in this game, and the jungle pathing, of course, in my general thought process. First off, on my runes, the reason why I'm going double armor is to play Nunu more proactively, you have to be able to look for turret dives pre-6. Nunu is one of the best early game tank junglers, and honestly the strongest tank jungler right now in League of Legends in solo queue. He's one of the only ones who has massive diving capabilities pre-6, and he can do it relatively safely if you go the double armor and if you go the triumphant and tenacity in your secondary tree under precision. On Nunu, I highly recommend you start on your red buff. It's super valuable and it will keep you higher health. You don't need to smite it or anything like that, even if you don't get a leash. Next off, you want to use your W and get it full girth from your red buff into your raptor camp. Do this correctly and you should be able to clear it relatively quickly compared to other junglers, and you should stay relatively high HP. Your next W, you're going to want to start before you make it into the lane and push it right into your wolf camp. This will help you get there faster and you'll take it much quicker with the damage from your W. By optimizing your clear speed, it'll allow you to get off ganks sooner and it will allow you to clear camps with higher HP. This is not a power jungle Nunu clear out. This is more optimized towards ganking. If you want to do a power jungle clear out, you would just do red, golems, raptors, then clear the rest of your jungle. In this case, we are doing red into raptors, wolves, then blue, skipping both our golems and our grom. This route is optimized to get you double buffs and level 3 as fast as possible on Nunu, and it also sets you up to get off a gank before the scuttle crabs come up. After blue buff, you're going to look at the two closest lanes and see if they are gankable. My bot lane is pushed in and Katarina is really close to her turret. What I'm doing here is prepping a snowball to go into 𝐒𝐂𝐈𝐀𝐋𝐒 Raptors. My team got a ward down near 𝐒𝐂𝐈𝐀𝐋𝐒 Raptors at the start of the game, and after his red buff, I saw him pathing towards his blue side jungle, skipping his raptors. So after my blue buff, I just charged up a snowball, ran it right in here. 𝐒𝐂𝐈𝐀𝐋𝐒 does end up ganking mid, so I can turn on them. Your E is AoE. You don't have to always charge up your W. Sometimes it's better to just get in there, use your E, and then use your W point blank so you don't miss it and you can save your teammate. Tryndamere plays a little bit too far up and ends up dying from the turret, but we do get the 2 kills and I can finish shoving these minions into the turret, so it works out really well. After I finish shoving the wave, I want to try to get the scuttle crab on the left hand side. Why the left hand side, you may ask? 𝐒𝐂𝐈𝐀𝐋 already took his red and I took his raptor, so the odds of him coming back there are very slim. Instead, I want to get the scuttle crab on this side since this is where he's most likely going to come to next. Then I can move back to the other side and get that scuttle as well, or I can look for a gank top or mid lane after I finish taking the scuttle crab. The scuttle crab speed up is an extremely valuable tool for you to work into your Nunu ganks. It lets you speed into ganks hella fast, sets up tons of stuff that otherwise wouldn't be possible. Enemies just don't expect it. In this case, Katarina is in lane, so I'm going to go for Swain since I can see him. I'm going to turn this snowball. Sylas doesn't follow up very well. We do get the Swain flash, so overall it's a successful gank and it didn't take too much time since I'm leaving pretty much immediately, and I used a scuttle crab speed up. Now I can work my way into my golems and then do my raptors, since my raptors should be spawning in around 425, 430. As you can see, they just spawned in, perfect timing. I can do my golems, then I can do my raptors, and then if I see a really easy gank mid or top, I can use the scuttle crab speed up to gank it. And if I don't see the gank, I can recall and get a buttload of item. That's the great thing about Nunu Jungle compared to other tank junglers, is he can stay on the map for a much longer period if it benefits him and his team. With most tank junglers, they get very low on health in their first initial clear and they have to back pretty soon and fairly often. You can start the snowball speed up all the way back from golem camp and you will reach it right on time going maximum speed. This is the fastest and healthiest way to clear the raptor camp coming from the golems. Obviously Q the big one and then you can just auto attack the rest. Right now my top laner just killed Swain and I can't really see Katarina, so I'm gonna go ahead and recall. I should have checked her HP. If she was really low HP, I could have just gone and dove her, but since I had so much gold, it's just better to back. On your first back on Nunu, you want to try to build as much of your jungle item as possible, and if you have enough gold to get your normal boots, you can get those as well. I included this part because I want to show you how it was a mistake. If scuttle crab is up and if you're ahead of the enemy jungler so you can take the scuttle crab comfortably, skip past your jungle to get the scuttle crab, since it is such a valuable tool for Nunu on ganking. While I was taking my wolves and Gromp, 𝐒𝐿𝐿 could have easily taken the scuttle crab from me, even though I am really far ahead of him. After I get this scuttle crab, I'll have massive opportunities to gank either Katarina or my bot lane. If your laners are doing really well like this Tryndamere, it is better to prioritize objectives like Dragon. In this case, I see 𝐒𝐿𝐿 is greeting for him, and I figure he's probably gonna come to his red buff or his raptors since he is full HP. So I lay a pink ward in the bush, make sure it's not warded. Once he gets really close and is about to enter, I hit him with my E first and then activate my ultimate. I nearly snared him there and I got off a full charge ult, killing 𝐒𝐿𝐿 and putting him farther behind. They're all-inning my Tryndamere. I tried to save him, but I just couldn't. While he's dead, I don't want to do Dragon because potentially the enemy bot lane can collapse and Katarina. So I'll have to put that off and wait to kill Katarina till Tryndamere comes back and then we can do Dragon. On Nunu, typically your most important lanes to prioritize are the mid lane and the bot lane, since Scuttle can access mid lane always, whether you're taking top side or bottom side Scuttle Crab. It just makes it much easier to either gank mid or top, and going top lane really takes you off the map and takes you away from dragons, which is where Nunu really shines. Tryndamere's back in the mid lane taking the turret, so I'm waiting nearby to dive Katarina if she shows up. She's not showing up, so I'm just chilling where I have my pink ward. I know the enemies don't know I'm here. I'm also using my sweeper just to be 100% sure. I completely whiff my snowball into the wall. It's not too big of a deal though, because I still have my E. As long as you land one part of your E, you can set up your snare. I try to tank as much of the turret as I can. I step out maybe one turret shot too early. It's not a big deal though, since Tryndamere was full HP. On Nunu, it'll happen on your W that you'll whiff it every now and then, but in general, make sure you have your cursor pointed in the right direction whenever you start it. Otherwise, if you point it the wrong way, a lot of the times you won't be able to turn it fast enough and you'll ram it straight into a wall. Whenever you get lane priority on Nunu, it is a great time to take Dragon, especially if you are ahead of the enemy jungler, but in general, if you have lane prio, taking Dragon is always a good option on Nunu, assuming you are at least level 4 and the Dragon's not going to be able to solo you. Since we just took Dragon, I'm looking for something to gank. While I'm waiting, I want to take 𝐒𝐿𝐿's jungle since I am ahead of him. The enemies are shoving up really hard on my bot lane. As I'm coming down here, they do kill my Ezreal. I just want to make sure they don't kill my Yuumi though, so I start up my snowball. They move away from her. At this point, I'm not that committed. Nunu's damage is fairly low, and if you're dealing with multiple enemies especially, you just have to be willing to back off. And even in a 1v1, Nunu has very low kill potential unless you can get off a full charge ulti. Right now, I'm just buying time. Tryndamere split pushing mid, so if Tryndamere stays and if I can stop all of these recalls, he can get an inhibitor. Or if Tryndamere does rotate down here, we can probably kill all of them. Right now, another viable option other than stopping recalls and looking for kills since I am ahead would to be go for Herald. Since all the enemies are bot lane, going for Herald would have also been a good choice. Since this is solo queue though, I am looking to have some fun. Tryndamere does end up rotating down bot lane. For the most part, they're already missing chunks of HP, and me and Tryndamere are fed enough to where it doesn't really matter. Which brings me to my next point. If you are playing Nunu, only pick him if you have at least one hyper carry on your team. That means one champion that can do all the damage your team will possibly need. For example, Tryndamere, Master Yi, Yasuo, Vayne, 𝐿𝐿𝐿. Things like Ezreal don't count. 𝐠 doesn't count. It has to just be massive damage that can wipe out a whole team if you CC for them and pill for them. Taking Herald falls under the same rules as taking Dragon on Nunu. You don't do it if you can't fight the enemy jungler, and you don't do it if you don't have lane priority. If you're trying to sneak it, it's too risky and it's not worth it. You might as well be ganking a lane at that point. Speaking of ganking a lane, always charge up your snowball from a fair distance away. That way when the enemies do see you, you're going way too fast for them to react to once you get there. If you use your W at the point where they can't quite see you, or right when they do see you, you'll never be able to actually land it because they'll just juke it or just run away from you. When using Herald on Nunu, it's a good idea to use your W. In this case, I was too far ahead of the Herald. What I like to often do is be slightly behind the Herald and start up my W. That way, whenever the enemies try to defend the turret, you'll be coming in really fast with your W. You can set up a really nice engage for your team. This guide's mainly to help out you beginners on Nunu Jungle, to help you figure out the pathing and different thought processes. I'll have some more advanced Nunu guys coming up soon with early game turret dives, and things of that nature. If you enjoyed this video and it helped you out, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out a lot with the YouTube algorithm. I'm also unbanned on Twitch, so I'm going to be doing a lot of Twitch streams. Definitely make sure to come by and check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. So bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright.